This is Mark Clauzel and you're watching Sport and Icons.
That's fantastic stuff. Fantastic. So when's the gym opening, Mark?
12th April. That's what Boris said. Obviously doesn't move that date again. I've got two of them and mess with them like. Again, they're going to look awesome when they're done. Like, I'm happy with the work and the progress so far. Like, I'm excited to open them. Yeah. Let everyone see what we've been doing behind closed doors. Just little steps along the way, you know. So happy days.
And then towards the end of the year, you're looking at a third gym, fourth gym, fifth gym?
Not this year, no, not this year. To be fair, we had a couple of places lined up to go, and the deal was agreed on one or two of them, to be fair. But I've just, obviously this coronavirus, we just went and forget it and withdrew. There was a takeover, there was a potential takeover for a couple, and then there was a couple of sites, which we'd agreed terms on, but then, like I say, this happened, and that was that. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Confident.
Definitely. Oh, so looking very, very nice in here, this gym. The room.
It will when it's finished, yeah. It's still a little bit of work in progress. Got to get the back wall bricked up for a few more bags. It's got the box masters over there. We've got a nice big artwork coming on the wall there, you know, so bigger ring, so Stevie's already went in and there. It feels much better, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
The phone is still big, it was still 18 foot, it's a big ring, but it just, when you're trying to work certain things, like 1 or 2 steps back, and for the big lads, like, they're on the ropes already, and you can't really get that.
2 foot doesn't sound a lot.
It does when you're looking all the way around.
And then when that's what I'm saying, it's 2 foot all the way around, so once you're in there, it's unbelievable. Like,
what is it, 80 square metres?
And if anybody doesn't know what 2 foot is, I'll show them. It's crazy how much of a difference it does make in there. And then you go to other gyms and they're like 16 by 16 and you're
fighting in full.
You're fighting, you know, you're just...
But the thing is, it's like, the whole point of doing this room, it's a project I've been wanting to do, and I've been saying, I've got to get that room done. How many times have I said I've got to get this room done? I've been blasted on about it for about 2 years, 3 years, if not more, saying I'm going to get that room done for us. And obviously we had a lovely big room in there was nothing wrong with it, but for me it was either the room was a little bit too small, and when we do the fitness classes and we had other stuff on the amateur club and all the rest of it, it was kind of more dictated by, even though they sort of trained during the day, when we had sparring partners and some could only come at night and were dictated to working around the fitness classes that we put on enough in the gym. So I just thought, you know what, lockdowns give us time, let's get it cleared out, get it painted, and then this is our office, isn't it now, you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter what time of day it is, someone wants to come in and train, those doors are closed, pros only, and that's it. We'll just crack on with work behind closed doors.
Fantastic. Also, before we cut off, how many people you got under your wing now then for management?
About 8 or 9. 8 or 9. Well, obviously there's going to be paperwork to be redone because the board's been shut down with some applications, not applications, but the whole process of the face-to-face interview. So it's got to do some more paperwork, and there might be some who've got bored and gone. They're okay, but we'll see. You know, we'll see. I'll get back in touch with anyone as soon as we get dates. I was on the phone to the board the other day. Just seeing if they were going to start doing them via Zoom, so to get the guys, at least all the documentation was done, so that when, you know, we can get things sorted out, things are allowed, we can just get the ball rolling rather than having to wait, go through the interview process and a couple of months on.
Martin, ask him if he's got anything in the pipeline that he's looking at.
Oh yeah?
Ask him.
What? Go on.
Well, I don't know, what you're looking into at the minute.
I don't know.
Ask him, Martin.
I don't know what it's going on.
Yeah, you said to do. What are you looking to do?
Move house on Monday.
No, not move house. What?
Finish painting this.
No.
Finish the floor.
He's not going to tell. He's not going to. You posted it.
I've applied for. Well, I've got the applications form, so I've been thinking about promoting again.
Oh, go on.
Potentially. Look, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't know how busy I'm going to be. And they say, when you're going to do it, you're going to do it. He's going, yeah, just do it. We'll do the shows. Now having to stay with 8 or 9 fighters again, it's kind of, that desire's come back a little bit to want to do it. With only 2 fighters and, you know, things like that, you can't really put your own shows on, can you? But, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe. I've got the application forms that came this morning in the post there, I rang the board and I got them, so, you know, I'll just send them back down, and then, again, I've still got to go for the interview process again, even though I had that license before, because it's been so many years since I last promoted, I've got to do it again.
How many shows have you done before?
Loads of amateurs, just did the one big pro and that was it. But I've been involved on the workings of loads, because before I did mine, I worked with like Fighting Chance, with Dennis Hobson, with Warrens a few times. I just sort of saw the inner workings of it all, we were part of a few times, so just saw how they all worked and that, you know, leading up to it all before I decided to take that plunge and do it myself. And
Just do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Me versus Johnny Wilder at Bladen Social Club, 150 people. Whoa! That's me calling about.
Seriously, I'm contemplating. Like I say, I've got the forms there again for my legs, and I don't know if I want to do it again or not. If I'm totally honest with you, that's the thing. But it all depends on how much work I can get the guys as to whether or not. It wouldn't force me hand to do it, but I've got to make a decision as a manager and trainer how active I need my fighters to be. I've got to make sure their plan and their development's done right. And if there's not a platform for them, just do what I've always done and create it myself. And that's kind of what I would do. You know, I've done it before, I can do it again, no problem at all.
Well, you know what, we can always live stream it here on Sport and Icons for 50p pay-per-view.
That's just a quick pay-per-view, bet you that.
No, absolutely right.
I've been running numbers on it, and I've been running numbers again, and it's doable. It's definitely doable.
You need a crowd though, don't you? You definitely need a crowd.
Kids watch this, you know what I mean? I've got 2 kids in the house and they're watching it. I was like, what does he mean, Daddy? I'm like, ignore him. Just ignore him. Now we need the crowds in, mate. Yeah, we need the crowd. For it to be financially viable, you know, you need the chat crowds in, because we haven't got TV, we haven't got big sponsors. But in that's fine, I'll do that tomorrow. So I'm at all, I'll put my bond in, I'll pay my licence fee, I'll crack on, I'll potentially do a show. It'll have to be on tickets, the way all the small ball shows around the country and pretty much around the world are done. And it's just people, just the crowds. It's more so, not that I can't do it, it's more so the crowds getting behind these guys and buying the tickets. So if they want to see the local shows, buy the tickets. People go, they're too expensive. Well, I sent him the whole spreadsheet. I was doing a profit and loss dinner the other day, and I was showing him this is why I couldn't do it, because we were talking about ticket prices. I said, well, this is why they're going to have to be this, because if your venue holds X, Y, or Z, you know, this is what you lose at that number, this is what you lose at that number, this is where you start to sort of break even if you sell out and you haven't got sponsors. And if you don't, you need to be at this level, otherwise, you know, you're going to have to front out £20,000 or £30,000. You know, nobody wants, I don't mind breaking even on a show, and that's genuine. I generally don't care if I break even. If it gets them somewhere, I don't mind putting the graft in for it and getting where I need to be, but I'm not prepared to put, you know, 10 grand down for a bond and then have to be pulling out 20 grand here and there to rescue a show because, you know, tickets haven't sold. I'm just not going to do it. What businessman's going to do that? I'm not, it's not going to happen. So if the punters want to see shows up here, I'll tell you straight, money's there to do it, no problem at all. Put it on, but you have to get behind the fighters and buy tickets. You do that, they'll have successful shows, there'll be good fights on there, and we'll have them on continuously. That's the top one of it.
Because when you look at it, like before we close off, you've got Jaffa in Sunderland, you've got Steven Gateshead, Newcastle, which is the biggest city. We don't have one.
It's venues, isn't it? It's finding venues and licences. That's been the main problem. Because see that big one I've got in there. Yeah. So I bought originally. Remember back in the day when I bought for them. So I bought me competition ring. I bought all the truss and the lighting setup. I bought the bleacher seating and everything. And everything was pretty much agreed with the council to get the licence for it, because it would have held about 2,500 if we would have done it.
Well, here?
Yeah, and then with the bleacher seating, it was like 2,500 would went for, which it was all approved at that. And then last minute council decided that they didn't want it. It was more, I think it was the police chief or the fire police.
Yeah, what I've been looking at.
One of them came down and they weren't happy. It was more the disbursements that they weren't happy with, and I had an arrangement with a couple of local taxi firms where they were just going to come down and have like sort of a taxi thing for people to get away. And it was down to the disbursements that actually. They said when you query that, we had to talk about that, and they turned around. They were kind of giving it a go ahead, and then they come back again 3 months later and they were like, look, no, we'll put the application in again. Same thing, it was down on disbursements, and they just said, no, that's for yours, I can't even bother to keep going through all this. So I just sold all the stuff off and just extended the gym into it, to be honest with you.
Well, tickets won't really be a problem. I mean, you've got Anthony Joshua's best mate right there.
Well,
wait, me, I haven't tried it. Dolls.
No, I don't do too bad for.
To be fair, right? You know, you've got to balance it out, because when you look at all who's going to be available, what journeyman going to be available, because there's a lot of them I've been looking, have been retiring, haven't they? There's a lot of solid journeymen just does not work, so they've got full-time work. They've been out the ring, you know,
yeah. What's a journeyman like? I don't.
No, I'm saying for the development.
Well,
not you, not you, but I'm talking about.
I know what a journeyman.
Some of the less experienced lads who are going pro, who aren't sort of GB, that, whatever, they still need to learn their trade. You can't be putting them in with someone who's 5-0, 6-0. You know, they're not Olympic gold medalists, and you know, you're not going to go against an undefeated prospect like that in your first fight. So they need to develop, they need to learn their trade. They need to have, you know, 4, 5, 6 fights against tough opposition, but not unblemished record type of opposition that would just be nuts, do you know what I mean? And their careers before it started. So you need that, but then, you know, you've got to try and get the right opponent. The board have to approve them. Then if you end up needing foreign boxers, the cost just starts to go up and up and up and up. And before you know it, you're 4 or 5 fights in, 24, 30 grand in just, you know, foreign boxer figs and all that crap, and you just think, oh, you know, it's not the thing, especially if you've got 1,000 here venue, you sell tickets for 40 quid. It's only 40 grand, man. You know, you're making jack off that, you've still got to put money in that. So you've got to run the numbers right, and tickets have to sell, mate.
But you definitely think about it though.
The application form's filled in, I haven't sent it off. It's filled in, but I haven't sent it. I'm on the fence.
We'll bring it in tomorrow, I'll post it for you.
It wouldn't make a difference if I posted. I've still got to put the bond in, do you know what I mean? Which is fine to do, so like I say, it's just, do I want to do that at this moment in my life with everything else I've got going on? You know, with training the lads and that. You know, when me and Pat speak quite a lot, and Pat's happy to come up here and use his licence and put shows on, as are a number of other people that I'm speaking to as well. So there's a lot of options, there's a lot of things on the table at the moment, and there's a lot of discussions I'm having. You know, something could happen with him, and there's been a few offers which I've told them about. They're not the right ones, that financially weren't good enough for them when we looked at them, you know, and there wasn't a guarantee of anything, you know, so there's that coming from different angles and different things. So it's kind of like, if you're expecting Steve to headline and be the main attraction, and we sign a contract elsewhere, you know, they instantly can't bank on that anymore. You know, that those tickets he would have brought through the door in that crowd with you know, he's getting popular now, isn't he, as a fighter, you know, so he's getting his name out there. No, so when he gets more and more popular, and because he's a heavyweight, everyone loves the heavyweights, they want to see it. And you might run a show of people that want as popular as him, and I'm not saying they wouldn't sell the tickets, because, you know, would probably do well for them, but getting a bigger name on like Steve, who's starting to get someone established now and get a good following, that's what you want, because people want to come and see him.
Well, simple fix, Steve Robinson versus Deontay Wilder. Nice little tune up for you.
Tell you, Bladen Social Club, £2.50 a pint.
Yeah.
Pound Jägermeister has 100% sell out.
Yeah.
250 venue.
Just doing the car park, eh?
Right.
So I'm straight out there.
Spot on. Alright lads, I appreciate your time.
So,
Thank you. Cheers.